The storyteller says, I am a 23-year-old woman. Since childhood, I always questioned whether my family truly cared for me. I felt invisible, so I did everything I could to gain their love. At just 7 or 8 years old, I would try to cook, clean, and help my mother with anything she needed just to see her smile. When she praised me, I felt happy, but that happiness never lasted long. So I kept trying harder, hoping she would love me more. I spent all my time with my younger siblings, stayed close to my mother, and rushed to fulfill her every request. But as I grew older, exhaustion set in. No matter what I did, my mother's approval was temporary. Despite being the only one always eager to help her, she clearly favored my siblings over me. I had one close friend, and we were like sisters. We spent most of our time together, shared meals, and even had sleepovers since our houses were next to each other. Our friendship lasted until middle school, when my suffering truly began. During my first year of middle school, my mother's treatment of me became even worse. My best friend found a new group, and I was left alone. Meanwhile, at home, my life was a constant cycle of chores: cooking, washing, cleaning, looking after my younger siblings, and even doing their schoolwork. I felt like I was their mother, not their sister. My family had money, but I had to beg just to get simple things like new clothes or school supplies. My siblings always had what they needed, while I was left with their hand-me-downs. Every day I would come home to the same thing: my mother's cold stare, the never-ending list of chores, and the painful loneliness. My sisters wouldn't even let me touch their things. I had to beg them to help me fix my hair, but they refused, so I just did what I could and left the house looking however it turned out. By nighttime, I was exhausted. But no matter how tired I was, there was still work to do. If anything went wrong, I was the one who got blamed. Sometimes I'd sneak into the bathroom, lock the door, and cry until I felt empty. Then I'd wipe my face and pretend everything was fine. Mealtimes were the worst. Sitting with my family, I could feel how unwelcome I was. I hated how they would chat and laugh while acting like I didn't exist. Eventually, I stopped eating with them. I pretended I wasn't hungry, but the truth was I couldn't bear to sit at that table anymore. Instead, I waited until they finished, then ate whatever leftovers I could find when no one was around to see me. Despite everything, I always did my best to stay strong, but one moment completely broke me. One morning, as I was leaving for school, my mother woke up, looked at me, and said, "I hope you don't come back today. I hope something happens to you and you never return." Those words pierced straight through my heart. I barely whispered, "I hope," in response. For a moment I thought, maybe that wouldn't be so bad. Maybe if I were gone, I wouldn't be a burden anymore. That day, as I got on the bus, her words kept repeating in my head. When I arrived at school, I saw my reflection in a window. My eyes were swollen from crying, my hair was a mess, and my face looked tired and pale. At that moment, I understood something. No matter how much I gave, it would never be enough. I would never receive it back no matter how much love I gave. But even with all the pain, I held on to one thing. I had myself. And that had to be enough.